I quit drugs and alcohol because it has not served me. Likely, if you're watching this video, you're an ambitious young individual who wants to lead the life that they've always wanted to. Or they're just sick of the escapism, sick of the cycle of being stuck in that addiction loop. When you look yourself in the mirror, you are filled with regret and remorse. You look at the other individuals, why I want to have the life they want to have. I want to have the life that they have. Why not me? I'll honestly tell you, and being fully vulnerable, I only quit drugs and alcohol after I ended my relationship with my college girlfriend. Even though I broke up with her, I reached a point where I had lacked self-respect to a whole new degree. After college, I let myself go. I stopped working out. I was just constantly working because I was so worried about helping my family pay the bills. I was just stuck using drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism. I didn't want to lead the life I was living. The relationship I had, it wasn't a healthy relationship. It turned me into a person based on certain actions that, my ex at the time had done that had led me down a path of just darkness. And the only thing that helped me get out of it was realizing that no one else is going to save me. No one's going to save you. No one's going to help you quit it. No one's going to quit for you. Only you can make that choice. I was tired of living a life where I would just wake up in the morning full of regret, or I would end up, smoking that piece of weed. And I was like, oh, I'm tired of this. I wish I didn't do it. I told myself I wouldn't do it, but I did it. One of the hardest things there is in life is to keep your word. Not just keep your word with others, because even though that is very difficult, keep your word with yourself, because only you know the truth of what you did or did not do. And you likely lay in bed at night wishing you did this certain thing, or wish you had done that certain task, or wish you didn't do a certain thing. I started drugs and alcohol when I was in high school, senior year, and I took it on from there. And I had a couple months where I was sober, and from there I used it as a huge form of escapism because I was so insecure and so lost in life. And that's what many young kids do these days, is because they're so young, they're so lost, and they're so lost in how to probably lead a life, and just filled with so many different things. And I'm not here to tell you that drugs and alcohol, if that's a life you want to lead, is a horrible life. Listen, you can live your life however you want to. It just didn't serve me and my purpose in life. I wasn't fulfilled. Yeah, I had fun with my friends, but was I really happy? No. Was I really enjoying the type of people I was surrounding myself with? And I'm not talking about my close friends, but the environment, like the clubs, the bars, no. Like if I want to find a girlfriend or a wife, I'm sorry, I'm not finding her at a bar or club, because that just doesn't resonate with me. I want someone who's ambitious, someone who's healthy, someone who finds other forms of joy. And I started to realize that the person I wanted to become didn't include drugs and alcohol. And it's likely the same case for you. Now, how did I quit? I'm not going to lie to you. It was hard. I'll say, honestly, alcohol was a pretty easy addiction for me to kick, because I really was never the biggest fan of drinking. It was because obviously the cost to the hangover stuff. I've never had that, but weed is a silent killer. It's a coping mechanism. As many times people say you can't get addicted to weed, you can get very much addicted to weed. You don't get addicted to weed based on physical substance, but you get addicted to weed because of the feeling and the lostness and the detachment that you can have on your current day life if there are any sort of factors in your life that you aren't happy about. So I remember, and it is not an easy journey trying to quit any alcohol or weed or any sort of drugs, because I remember about a month in, I was literally sitting in the car outside the dispensary, and it was, I think, first week of December, and I was just on Reddit, is it that bad if I quit? Is it that bad if I quit my sobriety and just keep going, keep smoking? Yeah, it'd be cool. And eventually I left the place, and I had a talk with my dad, and he told me a lot of times people who use these kind of coping mechanisms because they're bored or unfulfilled in their life. I notice whenever I'm bored, I get those cravings. Now, cravings are very minimal because I don't surround myself with it. It took me a long time and to detach myself from the people my friend group who would still smoke and do smoke, and that's fine, right? That's the life they want to live. If that's the life they want to lead, all respect to them. It's just not the life I want to lead. And I had to detach myself. And it was hard because I was very much alone during that time period, especially post-breakup. And it was a very reforming period of my life. But I dove myself into my work. I dove myself into my purpose. I dove myself into trying to become the person I want to become. And I can honestly tell you, I'm still working on it. Everyone's a work in progress. I'm so much happier quitting. And if this can just help encourage someone else to think about taking that step of putting it down, put down the weed pen, put down the J, put down the booze bottle. I'm telling you, there is so much more to life and so much more joy you can have from the simple things that I didn't realize were there until I really put down and looked around the world.